Where's Iago? The question that Kurt Vonnegut poses when Susan Neville tells him that her novel seems stalled out. But what did he mean? Was this meant as a narrow definition based on the character in Othello, the advisor who turns into a traitor? Does the Iago in our stories have to be someone bent on revenge, even if there is no basis for revenge? Or can it be someone offering a seemingly innocuous idea that brings trouble to others? To deepen our understanding of a definition of Iago, let's look at some recent characters.
Let's wind the clocks back a year. These cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you. I mean, what happened? Did your balls drop off? You see, a guy like me...
Freak.
A guy like me... Look, listen. I know why you choose to have your little group therapy sessions in broad daylight. I know why you're afraid to go out at night. The Batman. See, Batman has shown Gotham your true colors, unfortunately. Dent, he's just the beginning. And as for the television's so-called plan, Batman has no jurisdiction. He'll find him and make him squeal. I know the squealers when I see them.
What do you propose?
It's simple. We kill the Batman.
If it's so simple, why haven't you done it already?
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
How much you want?
Half. You're crazy. I'm not. No, I'm not. If we don't deal with this now, soon little Gamble here won't be able to get a nickel for his grandma.
Enough from the clown!
Let's not blow this out of proportion.
You think you could steal from us and just walk away?
Yeah.
I'm putting the word out. 500 grand for this clown dead. $1 million alive, so I can teach him some manners first.
All right, so listen, why don't you give me a call when you want to start taking things a little more seriously? Here's my card.
Like Iago, the Joker takes pleasure in manipulating and harming others, not for any particular purpose, but just because he can. Iago plants the seeds of destruction in Othello by telling him not to think about what Iago secretly wants, just as the Joker uses deceitful words to make others act. In The Lion King, Scar can seem mild and friendly when he is with his nephew Simba, but like Othello's Iago, Scar carries grudges that emerge when his brother, King Mufasa, names Simba as heir to the throne, a position that had been Scar's. The more he broods on this, the more convinced he becomes that the throne of Pride Rock should be his. So he develops a plot to kill both Mufasa and Simba and seize the crown. He places his self-interests ahead of the pride's. Let's take a look at an Iago in literature. Who does Kafka intend to be Iago in the Metamorphosis? Is it Gregor, his sister, or their father? Gregor Samson takes on the task of supporting his parents and sister when his father's business fails. Gregor works long hours as a traveling salesman without complaint, and when he is stricken with the condition that is turning him into a giant bug, he again accepts this without complaint because he thinks it's only temporary. But it is permanent. He becomes a burden to his family and a fright to their friends and acquaintances. When he is stricken, his father's chief concerns are for the family's finances. This may strike us as being evil, since he has little concern for Gregor, but yet that does not necessarily make him the Iago. After all, Gregor is the one who willingly took on the job that he hated. Is this an inner Iago pushing Gregor past his limits? Or is the father's refusal to work the Iago moment? It led to Gregor's destruction. While the change in Gregor is obvious, we also need to consider the changes in Greta, for she had taken on the task of caring for him, first out of pity, then out of compassion. But because her father had still refused to work to support the family, she took on a job to pay the bills. This took her away from Gregor, and as he declines toward death, she transforms into an independent woman. One of my first stories in workshop was a coming-of-age story in which a group of 14-year-olds go out on their last Halloween for pranks and throwing firecrackers. The story was intricate, but it didn't resonate in its early drafts. I added an internal conflict set in the 1960s. The fear of being sent to Vietnam was real for teenagers, but that wasn't enough because all the characters acted and sounded alike. That may be true to life for 14-year-olds, but not useful for storytelling. What the story needs is an Iago, a boy that sticks a firecracker in a mailbox, dares another boy to toss a smoke bomb into the street as cars are approaching, leads them to the abyss that all 14-year-olds dread, a phone call home from the police station, to sign for the court summons and take them home. A boy I knew growing up, Bruce, was bright with something always cooking. His Iago moment? In 5th grade in the gym, he challenged a group of boys to hang from the pull-up bar, the short boys on the end, the tallest and heaviest in the middle. Once they were all up there, the bar started to bend and the boys dropped to the floor, and when the coach came out to chew them out, Bruce was gone, his mischief complete. If the Joker had been a guy who had racked up parking tickets and kept his grandmother's car with the handicap license plate so he could park near the front door of stores, would there be a Batman? And if there were, would the movie be The Dark Night? Because nothing bad was going on to rouse the Caped Crusader. And Scar, had he gotten all teary-eyed and puffed his chest out in pride over his nephew's impending kingship, would we have a Broadway hit play? And the movie would be titled The Lyng King. And if Gregor had simply gotten sick from eating a late-night snack from the back of the refrigerator and his father said, "I told you to throw that stuff out," ha! Kafkaesque would mean something we had not heard of. So, we have this guy to thank for keeping our eyes open for trouble and the characters that bring it.
Cassio loves her, I do well believe it. That she loves him, 'tis apt and of great credit. The more, albeit I endure him not, is of a constant, loving and noble nature. And I dare think he'll prove to Desdemona a most dear husband. No, I do love her too. Not out of absolute lust. Peradventure I stand accountant for as great a sin. But partly led to die at my revenge. For that I do suspect the lustful Moor hath leaped into my seat. The thought whereof doth like a poisonous mineral gnaw my innards. And nothing can or shall content my soul till I am even with him, wife for wife. Or failing so, yet that I put the Moor at least into a jealousy so strong that judgment cannot cure. Which thing to do? If this poor trash of Venice, and my trash for his quick hunting, stand a putting on, I'll have our Michael Cassio on the hip. Abuse him to the Moor in the rank garb. I fear Cassio with my nightcap too. Make the Moor thank me, love me, reward me for making him egregiously an ass. practicing upon his peace and quiet even unto madness. He's here, but yet confused. Knavery's plain face is never seen till used.